Okay, Econ, this is the last part of chapter, or unit 1, I should say. We're actually jumping ahead a little bit. This particular little slice of chapter 21 is now included not in supply and demand, but in our first unit on micros. So we're going to add this in and go through it. There's really only one graph that's really easy to understand here. We've already talked about a little bit, and one equation to apply in a very sort of contrived way. And we'll just get going. We already know about utility, right? We've talked about utility, and we've talked about what the definition of utility is. We know that utility is subjective. It's difficult to quantify, right? It's satisfaction gained from consumption of a particular good or service. Today we're going to look at two things, namely, one, the idea of diminishing margin utility and how diminishing utility varies from the accumulation of total utility. We're also going to look at a process by which we can allocate between two choices to maximize our utility if we're given a particular budget in dollar prices. Okay, so here's a really easy way to look at utility. Let's take a look at tacos, one of my favorite foods. I love me tacos. And you can see as we consume more tacos, we get more total utility, right? 0, 10, 18, 24, 28, and up to 30. However, with each subsequent taco we consume, we see that we get less additional utility per taco. That's our diminishing margin utility, right? As we have the third and fourth taco, we've already had some, we've already tasted the flavors, we're not as hungry, they're not worth nearly as much to us, and we get less satisfaction from them, okay? So you can see as long as our marginal utility is rising, our total utility is increasing. It's like putting a deposit in your bank account, but depositing a little bit less each time. Your total account keeps rising, it just rises at a slower rate. Okay, those of you that are in calculus, you can apply some of what you've learned here as far as the rate of change to total utility. But, basically, for our purposes, our total utility is rising, but at a decreasing rate because our marginal contribution is getting smaller. And we have a downward sloping curve for our marginal utility graph. As we consume more tacos, our marginal utility starts to fall, right? Pretty easy. Okay. Whoa! We've hit 0. We've finally hit the point where we get no utility from an extra taco, okay? No margin utility. It's just blah. We've maxed out our total utility, right? We've maxed out our total utility here at 6 tacos consumed. We can't get any more utility because if we do, we're going to drop down below that x-axis and we're going to end up with negative utility. We're going to feel sick. We're going to throw up or something, and that will take away from the total utility that we've already gained from the taco, -2. We don't want to go there. The most we'd ever eat is 6 tacos, okay? And we're going to have to take a look at that relative to the price here when we look at the price per unit. But we'd never go to the 7th taco, at least rationally, because that would take away from our total utility. Okay, there's our diminishing utility. Also notice this. As soon as our utility goes negative, our total utility will decrease. I think of that in terms of taking a withdrawal from your bank account. If your total utility goes down, you're taking away from your total utility. If you're taking a deposit, or taking money out, taking a withdrawal from your bank rather than a deposit, your total deposit is going down. That's kind of how I look at our margin utility, negative utility, increasing total utility, decreasing total utility. Okay, here's how we have to apply it. And this gets a little tricky when we get the story problems with this or the tables that we have to solve. What we're going to do is we're going to have a very limited world where there are only 2 items. In these 2 items, we have to maximize our utility between A and B and figure out the right combination that will give us the highest total utility. Okay? And we're also going to do so with a budget constraint and put a price on the items. In other words, we're going to choose between A and B. We'll have 2 items. We have to buy A and B. We're usually going to spend all our budget down, and we're going to maximize our utility. So here's an example. Okay, and I put everything together here, and I'm going to walk you through this. There are a couple of key steps that you have to remember when you do this. First off, the equation is going to be marginal utility per dollar of A right, over the price of A will equal marginal utility of dollar per B over the price of B. It looks like this. Okay, you want equal utility per dollar, right, on A and B on the last dollar you spend. So the last dollar you spend should satisfy this equation and make it true, okay? So this is what we're shooting for. Let's go back here. The first thing you have to do is make sure that you're given marginal utility. Now we have marginal utility on this table for us, okay? Product A and B. A lot of times in your FRQs, they give you total utility, and you have to convert that to marginal. Make sure that you are solving for the marginal utility, or that you've derived the marginal utility by taking the difference of each subsequent measure of total utility, and then divide that by the price. You see in product A, our price is $1, so there's nothing really to do. It's just marginal utility, 10,8765, and we just listed marginal utility per dollar, 10,8765. Product B, there's a challenge because it's given in marginal utility, but now it's $2. So we have to convert that to marginal utility per dollar of product B. So we simply just divide the marginal utility by 2, and we end up with 12, 10, 9, 8, okay, so forth, right? So here's how the logic works with this. We have $10 in income, right? And I'm going to go through and show you the allocation process. Now, if we were in a store, we just say, I got 10 bucks, I'm buying 2 of these and 3 of these or whatever. Here's how the allocation process works. I have $10, okay? Which one gives me the most utility per dollar? Well, it's product B. So I'm going to buy a B, okay? I buy my first product B, and I've got 12 utils per dollar. Excellent. Okay, now I'm down to $8 because product B is $2. The next thing I'm going to do is buy one of each A and B. They give me equal utility per dollar, 10, okay? So now I have 2B and 1A. 2B and 1A, right, takes my income down to $7. No, sorry, B is $2 each. That's terrible, Mr. Kapinski. We only have $10 that we're starting with. That's 5. It takes it down to $5, okay? Hello, right? The next thing I'm going to buy is a 9, right? Is a third item of B. Why? Because it gives me 9 utils per dollar, okay? That's $2. Now I'm down to 3. What do I do now? I've got $3 left, and we usually, in these little scenarios, spend all our income, okay? Now I'm going to buy one of each. I'm going to buy one of A and one of B, taking me down to no money, satisfying the algebraic equation, giving me equal utility per dollar on the last dollar spent. 8 utils per dollar for A, 8 utils per dollar for B, right? So how would I find the sum of all the utility? How would I find my total utility? My total utility per dollar, that is, right? But also, right, the sum of the total utility for A and B, okay? How would I do that? Well, I would just add it up. So the total utility for dollar for A is 18, right? And then I would go over and I add the sum of the utilities per dollar on the second side, which is 12 plus 10 is 22, 22 and 17 is 39, 39 and 18 is 57, okay? So 57 utils per dollar total utility derived from this. And then it would be found by purchasing 4 of B and 2 of A. That's kind of the process you go through with these. ACDC has another video on this, and there's some videos from the College Board. Really a good way to do it is to try the apples and oranges FRQ that I've uploaded for you. Give that a shot and see if you can figure it out. There's a solution video where they go through this process again and walk it through on an actual FRQ. And this is kind of how you're going to encounter this on the AP exam. You're given a table and you have to figure out, all right, how many of these do I have to buy? Here, I got to figure out my utils per dollar and figure out how many I'm going to buy to maximize my utility by satisfying the equation here. Algebraic restatement of the utility rule. Marginal utility of A over price of A, marginal utility of B over price of B. Okay, that's what you're shooting for. Again, if you have questions on this one, check out some of the other videos, try the sample problem. You can always email me. We'll do some practice questions in AP Classroom on this. It's really pretty easy once you get the hang of it. It doesn't take too long. Okay, guys, good luck.